So let's continue talking about the effect of coronavirus on various businesses. For more, I'm joined in studio by Purity Bere from Transcend Travel. She's the owner of a small travel agency whose business has been affected by COVID-19. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Perhaps you can just tell us how your business has been affected by this outbreak.
Yeah, definitely we have experienced a decline in inquiries themselves, people inquiring for their future travel, but most we have been affected by people wanting to cancel or to postpone their travel. So you can definitely say there's been a decline in business as a whole.
So as a small and medium enterprise, how do you then mitigate these factors that you've spoken about and try and protect yourself for quite an uncertain future?
Yeah, it's actually a bit tricky, but at the moment what we are trying to do is obviously advise the clients best as they can to see if they need to cancel or if they need to postpone so that they do not lose any money unnecessarily. And on our side, we are obviously trying to push destinations which have not been affected by the coronavirus at the moment. Yeah.
That must be a shrinking number of businesses.
Definitely it is, because each day when you wake up, you see another country has been hit, and even though there has been no fatalities, but one becomes very nervous. Should I continue with my trip, or should I wait? Should I postpone? So it's a very tight situation, because you really don't know where the virus is going to hit next and how hard it's going to hit.
So what would you then advise somebody who is thinking about traveling but is uncertain because of the many variables?
I would say since the virus is really more detriment to smaller children or the elderly or somebody with a weak immune system, that do not rush to go into the mainly affected areas. I would rather say then, if you can postpone, rather postpone, but at the same time that people should not fear to travel. Don't be held back for you to be staying at home and now cancelling your plans. People should still be able to go there. Obviously, just take precautions as per what the World Health Organization is telling people, to keep safe and just to be aware of which countries are being affected. And I feel definitely people should still travel and should not be in fear. Yeah.
What effect do you think, obviously there's a financial aspect to this traveling and making a decision about whether to cancel or not.
Yes.
I know in the United States, Delta has now started saying to clients that any changes that they make on their travel plans because of the coronavirus are going to be free, so they don't have to pay. What are we doing in South Africa in terms of airlines and different companies associated with travel, trying to ensure that customers are not financially burdened by changes that they make due to the coronavirus?
Yeah. I have noticed that locally and even internationally, some suppliers or hotels, they're being lenient with their cancellation policies and are trying to assist the travelers or the clients. With regards to the airlines, there have been some major airlines that have come to the party and said, look, we will waiver the change fees. However, the problem is when you actually do want to proceed with the change fees, one still has to pay for what you call the fare differences and the tax differences. So you'd say, for instance, if you bought your flight on the 14th of February and then now you want to move it to September, we'll need to check what the fare was in February compared to now in September when you want to travel. So if there is a difference, you need to still pay that. So it would be much better maybe if the airlines could actually cancel this and waiver these as well, not just waiver the change fees, but also look at the fare differences, the airport taxes, and the cancellation fees, because some are still allowing the change fees, but the cancellation fees are still there. If I decide, look, I'm not going to risk it, I'm not going to travel, I would rather seek a refund, they are still applying the cancellation fees. Which also makes it difficult for a person to then decide, look, do I go ahead and lose the money that I had saved maybe for years, for months, for me to finally go on this trip, or do I then now just proceed and at the same time risk catching the coronavirus? Yeah.
I know it sounds very grim, but there are always opportunities when there's a sense of chaos.
True.
For instance, people are not going to be traveling to Italy now. They're not allowed to leave or go into Italy now. Okay. So there may be room for more travel on the continent and the like. What are the opportunities that may arise in the tourism sector because of coronavirus?
I think it will also lead to people really looking at local travel to boost our own local travel, because there is a lot of places within South Africa, within our borders, within the SADC region or Africa itself as a whole, that we as Africans need to experience. And also promoting our own local industry will also give a boost in tourism, adding more jobs to people. So I think focusing on the local travel and regional travel would also be very good, because if you look at the world map at the moment, Africa has not been affected that much. So I would then say, let's look at traveling locally and boosting our tourism economy locally and regionally.
Thanks so much for your time on SABC News this afternoon. Purity Bere from Transcend Travel Agency joining me in studio there.